September 11th, 2001.
Like the millions of other people around the world, I watched the tragic events of September 11th unfold on television.
That morning I woke up and the lead instructor just called me in and said, "Look at the TV."
I turned the TV on, getting goosebumps here talking about it. I saw both towers were on fire. Minutes later, my pager went off.
Initial reports suggest anywhere from hundreds to thousands of people were trapped underneath the towers. Search and rescue teams from across the nation came to help.
We were put on a military cargo plane with the San Diego FEMA task force.
We drove throughout the night and we arrived early in the morning of September 12th.
My phone rings and it's my immediate boss, and she goes, "You're going. Go get your gear, get your dog."
Lieutenant David Lim with the Port Authority and his canine partner Sirius were in the towers when the attacks started.
Sirius was very special to me. He was my partner, and he was a family member. We were on the basement level of 2 World Trade Center at the time. So then I heard transmission on the radio that an explosion had occurred on the upper levels of 1 World Trade Center. And I turned to Sirius and I said, "You stay here, and I'll go and help the people," because he's not a search and rescue dog, he's a bomb dog. So I left him in his cage and I went to go help the people in building number 1. It just got ugly. At some point, as I'm getting the people down, all of a sudden Tower 2 collapses. That's when I realized Sirius couldn't have stayed alive, and then this building's gonna fall any minute. I could start hearing like the floors coming down from above, and it was like the sound of an onrushing locomotive.
Lim, alive within the remains of Tower 1, finally found his way out to freedom.
I was very proud to carry Sirius out of Ground Zero. I fulfilled my promise to him. I did come back. He was killed in the line of duty, and he was given a memorial service as a police officer. It's not how they died, but how they lived, which makes them heroes.
James Symington and Tracker were one of the first search and rescue teams on the scene.
We arrived at Ground Zero within 14 hours of the towers collapsing, and we immediately began to search. Canine resources were in short supply. We searched throughout the night, and then sometime on the morning of September 12th, Tracker got a hit, indicating that somebody alive was buried beneath the surface. We notified the rescue workers, then quickly moved on to continue with our search. These rescue workers later pulled a woman, the last survivor, from the pile, and I'm extremely proud of Tracker's involvement in our rescue.
When the other teams arrived, they partnered with the American Humane Association and Red Star emergency response teams.
You drive down there, I hadn't seen this scene yet, and you kind of hear rumors through the ranks in terms of how bad it is or what it's like. You see people who have already been there, and they're kind of have this blank look on their face, and you know it's bad.
And then I remember just turning that corner, and that's where the Twin Towers used to be. I remember we all just stopped and stared.
You're a little stupefied. There are no words.
The World Trade Center area was still burning, and just a jumble of steel and smoke and glass.
I remember the smell and the taste, which I still smell and still taste when I see something on TV.
I don't think I was so much scared as just in awe, and the complexity of the problem.
My first thought, she's gonna get hurt or killed.
Frankly, the dogs didn't seem ruffled at all.
Her and the other dogs, they started pulling on the leashes.
And then to watch her, she's just moving around like she had done it all her life. She was meant to do it.
And then I sent him, and he just went right out and started searching.
He did great. The rubble wasn't a problem. He traversed it super. I gotta give him credit. First big search, really. New environment, knew everything.
People say, well, you'd send your dog into a place you wouldn't go.
It's not a matter of, well, don't send the humans, send the dogs. It's a matter of the humans would be really dangerous.
We know how four-wheel drive the dogs are, how light they are. They can do things that we can't do.
If you were buried with several tons of concrete over you that was in very precarious positions, would you rather have me at 180 pounds, or would you rather have my dog, who weighs, about 55 pounds, walking on top of you?
They can get there, cover a very large area in a very short period of time.
They're so fast, so adept, so able to detect from a distance. And so they could really lead the other rescuers in to the places where they should dig more deeply.
Dogs are trained to go. They're trained to perform. They're trained to do pretty much what you ask them to do. It's a handler's job to evaluate, to assess, to do the intel and determine what are the real hazards. It's definitely an art form. And it can be as much about the handler as the dog, but that's why you have the team to complement each other on your skills.
The dogs did more than just search and rescue. They bolstered the spirits of the responders and helped to remind everyone to keep hope alive.
The people that have lost their loved ones, they know that everything that can be done is being done when they see the dogs.
For that deployment, she was probably 25% search dog and 75% therapy dog.
He just came up to Abby and he buried his head in her neck and just started crying.
They would put their head on her head, and I would see these tears falling off of of her ears. I really think that what the dogs get is an intense understanding of their handlers' emotions. They pick up on us. From that standpoint, I think all the dogs knew that it was something that was different, intensely different.
The search and rescue dogs performed above and beyond everyone's expectations.
We are sometimes certainly afraid, and any sane person would have been. I don't know that the dogs had that.
I think Tracker instinctually and intuitively felt the desperation around him, and I think he gave the performance of his lifetime.
I think it showed a lot of folks out in the world that this is a valuable resource.
We've been developing this national system, and the World Trade Center proved the system. The dogs could do this work in the most horrible circumstances, and they didn't get hurt.
If there was anybody to be found, then this incredible team of heroes would find them.
We've got a lot of dogs on this planet that are like that. People just need to realize that they're here.
Over 300 dogs served this country at Ground Zero and showed us what true heroes are made of. We honor every dog that served on September 11th, and now we remember those who have passed since that tragic day.